brand trying to make a mark in a very competitive telecom category. While all the biggies come out with a new ad campaign almost every week, here's Virgin Mobile that's decided to play it a bit slowly. Not positioning around tariff plans or other freebies, this emerging brand is targeting the Youngistan. I caught up with Prasad Narasimhan to find out what are the brand's plans for the future. 4 months since the brand was really launched in India. How difficult has it been to build a brand in a category where every week, every big player is coming out with a new advertising campaign, a new positioning idea, lowering tariffs, new plans?
Yes, there's a lot of activity, and yes, there's a lot of people who are trying to do lots of things, targeting everybody. But in such a market, it's not that the consumers really want all that detail. I think it's important to stay focused to what our customers want, and start making sure that we only deliver those and not really clutter it up. So we're really not bothered with the excessive clutter that is there in this market. I think as long as we stay focused, we can build something that we want to build.
Okay, but it's easy for you to say stay focused,
Yeah.
but what is it that the consumer really wants? I mean, what is the role of a brand in a category where everyone, either wants better service or, better network? Those are really the key words there. So how important really is it to build a brand?
I think it's hugely important to build a brand, because a brand represents a kind of allegiance and an affiliation for consumers, and it also represents a whole bundle of benefits that we give them and they want to receive from a company like ours, which is both functional and emotional. So it's really hugely important to build a brand. But I think the question that is really asked is really how difficult is it to build a brand. I think it is difficult because of the noise level in this category, and the fact that it's not just the noise level. There are some really good competitors, and they're doing some fantastic work. So in the context of that, to remain focused, to remain true, and to be really meaningful to the customer segment and the consumer segment we have chosen to talk to is the challenge for us, and I think that's what we are focusing on.
Okay. You mentioned, look at the market leaders in the category. They've taken a decade to really build on to the brand equity that they really have. What's the plan for Virgin?
The attempt is to create differentiation that is sensible, meaningful, and very interesting for youth.
So
and
what
youth,
really is your differentiation?
Yeah, see, the first, at the strategic level, our differentiation is that we are the only brand in this category that almost exclusively focuses on youth. Now, everybody else has offers for youth for sure. Whether you look at Airtel, you look at Vodafone, you look at Reliance, you look at Tata, you look at Idea. I think everybody has bits of activity that do focus on the youth. But I think what we do is pretty much live for, die for youth, and pretty much everything that we do, our entire business model is orientated to make that the reality for us.
Okay. Every other brand across categories seems to be talking the Youngistan story.
Absolutely.
While it makes perfect sense that you want to target the youth, probably they talk more on the phone, they use the network a lot more. It's also the category that switches pretty fast. There's no, in terms of the loyalty towards a brand, I would imagine it's pretty less. How then does one plan to, make it work in the long run?
I think one thing we must all realize when we talk about youth is that they are a very smart audience, and I think we must really understand what makes them tick, both functionally as well as emotionally. To underestimate that is to underestimate it at our own peril. I think the things that you said, do they talk more than the average? Yes, they talk twice as much as the average. Do they SMS more than the average? Yes, they SMS thrice as much as the average. Do they actually end up with late night calls, weekend calls much more than the average? Yes. So one is to understand what their tendencies are, what their interests are, and what their kind of usage skews are. But it's not just functional, it's not just benefit. I think they are really savvy about brands, unlike previous generations, and I think it's really important to get deep in terms of your understanding of youth, and not just talk Youngistan, not just skim the surface of youth and make it young people, happy people, jumping, dancing, but it's really about understanding their insecurities, the areas where you can touch emotional cards with them, and then start playing with them.
Okay, talking about that launch campaign, how difficult was it for you as a brand to really go ahead with that kind of message that you were putting together in that ad, implying a very obvious, gender orientation?
आपसे कुछ कहना है? बोलो. मुझे लड़कों में कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है.
It was a pretty risky proposition. do you think our youth are really that, aren't they as traditional as anybody else?
On YouTube, we had 150,000 hits on that ad with an average rating of 515. I haven't seen an ad like that in India, frankly. It just tells me also that youth are willing to think and be talked to in a way that you are not used to as marketeers talking to them. And I think unless we really are with them and as bold as them, and if not a little bolder, we have no way of actually saying that we will actually lead them into an area that we want them to be in.
What would you probably look at in the coming months?
For example, I know that we have some very interesting offers for consumers in terms of uh, intra-group, talk and SMS platforms. Pretty much, you and I, if you're friends, can speak for free forever because of some unique ways we are calibrating it. I will actually take this kind of an offer, which is saying that within friendship, within friends, all calls are free. All SMS is free. I will take these kind of concepts into groups, which is what colleges are about.
Now, if you come across any brand that could change market dynamics, do let us know. The address is logo@utvi.com. Celebrity brand endorsements seem to be the easiest way to build a brand. And now marketers have started resorting to celebrity couple brand endorsements. After John and Bipasha, Kajol and Ajay Devgan, Deepika and Ranveer, Kareena and Saif seem to be the latest addition to this list. Take a look at this week's spotlight. P&G has just signed on Saif Ali Khan for Head and Shoulders, while Kareena has already been with the brand for some time now. This ad that releases this weekend doesn't feature his real-life love, but company sources say that the company will soon plan to have them together on the screen.
अब कुछ भी सोचो, Head and Shoulders, dandruff रोके वापस ना आने दे.
So do they collectively appeal to you? Do let us know. But for now, it's time to take our second break. But after that, find out who's winning what these days.